Hi, everybody. How's it going? I'm Joseph Goodman,
Brendan LaSalle.
and welcome to the Road Crew Rally, the first one of 2021. How's it going, Brendan?
I am doing really well, thanks. How are you doing today?
Pretty good. Yeah. So everybody, we got an agenda and stuff. We figured we'd give it 5 or 10 minutes for everybody to, show up and tune in and stuff. So we'll
Get your
just kind of hang
popcorn.
out for a little bit. Yeah, get your popcorn. Yeah,
Yeah.
get your
If
rug
you're
burns. It sounds like
yeah.
from the chat.
If
Um,
you're watching, wow, what's up, Sean? Say hi in the chat if you're watching. Good to see you guys. Look, Mark, what's up?
yeah. Hey, everybody. All right.
Darkwood.
So in theory, what we're going to do is give some updates for the road crew. Cover. We got actually a lot of topics to cover. But before we get there, we'll just hang out a bit and let everybody join in.
Yeah.
Brendan, did I tell you I finished The Stand by Stephen King?
Oh no, you didn't. What's your final verdict? So, after all these years, Stephen King fan here has never read The Stand before, so he just read it, but he read the full version with the extra 400 unedited pages. So, what do you think total?
Yeah, so Brendan apparently has read both versions, the normal version, and then when Stephen King got big, he published the version where he said, "Screw you, editors," threw in like 400 pages of anything he wanted.
Yeah.
And I was at one stretch and I was telling Brendan it's really dragging, and he was like, "That's the part that like the editors cut from the original."
Yep.
But it was really good. But the part that I didn't feel like the plot got resolved, but the whole theme around like Mother Abigail and having faith and taking the leap of faith just kind of like disappears in the end. I mean,
Yeah. Suddenly it becomes nuclear accidents and the actual hand of God coming, the physical, hand of God.
yeah,
I don't know.
but it was good.
It definitely has its moments. It's not my favorite Stephen King. That's what I've actually never had an opportunity to say this before, in a forum. But my favorite Stephen King is Christine. I think everyone should go read that one. Classic American horror novel. It's it's a haunted car. It's got rock and roll songs. It's hey, what's up, Yorkus?
So is that good? Like bedtime reading for my children?
No. No, it is not.
Okay.
And I don't know what is, but I don't even know. Maybe what would be a good. You should just read them selections from Tales from the Magician's Skull, and just when they get scared, be like, okay, we'll pick up here again tomorrow.
Yeah.
And just boom, no more crying.
Yeah. Actually, we just started Harry Potter, the first one of those, which I never read, and my 8-year-old's loving it. So it's a really good book as an adult too.
Well, I'm gonna go ahead and announce. So next week on this Thursday on 1000 Worlds / Game Therapy, we're gonna do a little game. It's gonna be DCC meets Harry Potter. So
That sounds awesome.
like what it would be like. Yeah. So get ready for that action, kids. So tune in. You heard it here first. Worked on it a little bit today. Gave me the giggles. So.
That show is like your creative outlet. Like it's a completely different show every time.
Every time. Yeah, I try to do. I mean, I won't say like sometimes I've tried to do something different for the show. I have pulled in older things before and stuff, but yeah, we try to do something, something exciting, something interesting every week. And it's been my like saving thing this whole lockdown. So I told Lori today, I realized that this March will be my 1-year anniversary of not having used deodorant. That's exciting.
I know. There's all these things where like you can show up for meetings now and it's all virtual and nobody knows whether you showered, whether you're wearing pants.
I'm tempted to like the basketball shorts. It's all I ever wear anymore. This is my Rider uniform. I live in it.
I know. We're up to almost a year of like this work from home thing. We've all adapted. So
I came home from Gamma Trade Show.
That's right. That's right.
Self-quarantined. I was like, well, I'll lock down myself for 2 weeks. And by the time that was over, the whole, state was,
I know. We all thought it was a couple weeks. Who knew? So
go back and look at your tweets from like just before to just after. Wow. Those are interesting. At least that's what I did. I did that recently. I was like, what?
Yeah. All right. So we're about 10 minutes in. Hopefully everybody's joined now. I got my agenda. Did you get your agenda?
Hello, Jen. I have my agenda. I've got it on the screen. I didn't print it. I'm not printing anything these days.
Yeah. All right. I'm still old school. I'll go file this when I'm done.
Yes.
So, all right. So guys, welcome to the Road Crew Rally. We traditionally have done this as a Zoom that's kind of a private just for Road Crew members. But for this first one of the year, we wanted to do something where, aspiring Road Crew members, basically anybody can check this out and see the kind of updates we give. Road Crew is the folks who run the tons of games and sort of support the vision for what we're trying to do here. And they're an important part of just the DCC community and culture. And I shouldn't even say DCC, beyond that, just the Goodman Games community and culture. So we try to do what we can to, keep everybody involved and in the loop. And this is just a communication vehicle to give you guys some updates. So actually, first thing, it's a general preamble. As we were just talking about, we're all working from home these days. So what I like to tell people in these meetings is you might meet my wife, my kids, my dog, who knows who's going to interrupt this. And that's just life these days. So we'll just roll with it if it happens. But the first thing to tell you about is how this year's Road Crew is going to work. So, for I think 8 or 9 years, however it's been, we followed a sort of a standard approach, which was, you run one game and you get this thing, you run a second game, you get a different thing, and it sort of grows throughout the year. And then near the end of the year, if you've run enough games, you get like a belt buckle or something special like a name badge and so on. And by the way, for those of you waiting on your name badge, we are about to get those printed from last year. But this year, we're doing it a little bit differently, partly because that whole model originally was based around this idea that you would run a game, at a game store, maybe in the back room or the game room, and you have a little sign up that says, game on Thursdays, join on in. And the idea was you'd kind of be there as a regular and, run a game every month or every 2 weeks or whatever, and people could join in. And nowadays, that's just all changed. There are places in the US and the world where people can safely meet right now. We've all found a way to live with this, whether it's masks or social distancing, whatever. But there's also places right now that are still under lockdown and you can't really get together physically. So we wanted something that was less about this sort of steady progression in one physical location and more about the new online world we're entering. So yeah, man, I miss game stores too. There's some guys in the chat. I know. And the worst part is like a lot of the stores, I feel like this, when we all come out of this, not all the stores are going to make it,
Oh no.
So it's just, yeah, the game stores, the bookstores, the comic stores, all the places we all used to go to and love. So
Joseph, do you remember browsing?
Man, it's so funny you say that. No, the local bookstore, I realized at one point we have this one, I live in a small town, and I realized like, why are we not supporting the local bookstore? So I went there and like dragged my kids there and we were browsing, but like times are so tough. They barely have any stock anymore, So like but yes, I'm trying to get back into like browsing at the local stores to support them. No, you're right. Because we find out stuff now about like through recommendations from algorithms online as opposed to actually seeing stuff. Yeah. Anyway, so this year it's going to be different. The idea is that we're going to have a series of stickers throughout the year. So every month we'll have 2 or 3 stickers, maybe more, maybe less. A lot of these stickers are actually designed by fans. So a lot of you guys pitched in when we had that sticker design contest last year. And yeah, man, they were awesome. Like we picked winners, but it was hard. There were a lot of really good designs. So the winners will get their stickers made, but frankly, a lot of the, finishers will also get their stickers made. And if we do your sticker, we're going to send you a big pile of them. But the idea is each month there'll be some new stickers. If you run some games during that month, you can just, submit the Road Crew request and you'll get those stickers. And we'll have the stickers around as long as we have them. So if, once the January ones run out, they're gone, but you'll have new ones in Feb and new ones in March and so on. So that's the basic idea. So you guys ask questions in the chat if you're not clear. Hopefully that's clear. But we figured stickers are a little better because you can stick them on your laptop. You can stick them on your bookshelves, like all the stuff that people can see around you in the new online world. And yeah, something for your books. It's a little easier to show off right now than some of the other stuff. So cool. Hopefully that's clear. If you have any, stick on your cat.
I'm waiting to see one like on somebody's face shield. You know what I mean? Like on top.
That's actually, dude, that's great. We need DCC face shields. Actually, but they'd have one eye, like one eye.
That'll get you thinking.
And little like alligator teeth painted on. So, all right. Cool. So that's that. One other update for you guys is, the con scene has changed considerably. Normally by now we'd be doing a lot of work to get ready for Gen Con, which might sound crazy because it's in August, but if you're on the publisher side, your workload usually starts in late December and you have to start submitting games and have signed up for a booth actually by last August. But there's just a lot of moving parts right now. So I wanted to talk to you guys about the con schedule for this year and what we're planning so that you at least have something to look forward to. Somebody I know was telling me they start making plans now just so they have something to look forward to. And even if something get canceled, they plan out 2 or 3 things. So like something got canceled, but they got 2 or 3 things past it, just to have something to look forward to. And actually, to answer this question in the chat, can you get past stickers such as January and February if they haven't run off, or is it month by month? Yes, you can get past stickers. It'll be while supplies last. So like if there's still January stickers left in December, you can pick those up if you'd like. As long as we still have some, they'll be there. All right, but anyway, so here's the con schedule, just to give you guys some sense of what to expect for the year. Obviously, Spawn of Cyclops Con is coming up in February. Late February, about a month from now. So you guys feel free to submit your events. We're still taking events. And for those of you who have been to a Cyclops Con, we're going to do something different. Has anybody in the chat heard of Gather Town? And I know Brendan has. He's seen it. I wish I could show you guys this. We're not yet ready to show it. We will have a new way for you guys to hang out at the con. It's hard to even describe. And when I first saw it, I'd literally never seen anything like this. But it's a way for us all to interact in a virtual space where when you walk past each other, like your little avatar walks by. It's like Legend of Zelda, kind of like the original one. Your avatar walks by and a little window pops up and you can talk to the guy next to you, then keep walking. Anyway, Spawn of Cyclops Con will have a whole new way for you guys to interact virtually, and I think it'll be really cool. I think it'll actually change the way people think about online cons. So if you haven't gotten a badge, badges are only $5, and you'll really appreciate this, I think, when we get there. Anyway, after that, we will have DCC days online again. It'll probably be in mid to late June. So things are moving around a little bit. Last year, that was originally a retailer-based event that we added on the online portion as the year changed constantly between like Brendan and I were literally at the Gamma Trade Show in March, like pitching retailers on a physical event. And then like by the time we got home, it was like, whoa, this whole thing's defunct. Yeah. So anyway, this year we're going to go straight to an online event. It will have free product, just like the last one. You'll get a, adventure pack and so on. So we're going to, anyway, there'll be more info on that, but just know something's coming in mid to late June along those lines. And then we're going to have the 4th Cyclops Con, which will be in September, tentatively sort of late September, still working on some dates. But just to give you something to look forward to, it'll be out there as well. A couple other updates for everybody. I know many of you have done Free RPG Day for many years. And actually, I don't know that, I might be spilling the beans here. I haven't seen them actually announce this on their website yet. But Free RPG Day is officially moving out of June. They're moving it actually to October, which is fairly late. So, yeah. Well, they told me, so I assume it's public now. Yeah. Anyway, so so there's the scoop. So we do plan to support Free RPG Day. Latest I know is it's going to be in October. And I assume it's still going to be a physical event like it always has been. And we'll, anyway, we'll be there. Oh, to answer the question, which con will the team tournament be happening on? The 4th Cyclops Con. So that'll be, it's hard to even have a plan, but in theory, the plan will be the first half Cyclops Con, like the spring one, like the Spawn of Cyclops Con, will be the one with more speculative events. And the one later in the year, like the September, will be like the bigger events, like the team tournament and stuff like that. Then the other thing that we're working on is a con that's focused on more traditional D&D or sort of D&D 5e. So that one is moving around a little bit, but we're thinking about having that probably in late May, maybe around Memorial Day. You're welcome to run DCC as well, but since we now have a fairly growing like Original Adventures Reincarnated line with all the adventures there, as well as 5th edition fantasy and so on, we're looking at one that's going to be focused on primarily on 5th edition. So more to come on that. Still working out some of the details, but probably mid to late May for that. That's the rough plan. Hopefully that gives you guys something to look forward to. Yeah, I think that's it for that. So Brendan, maybe you want to introduce our guest speaker and tell us what's going on here. Yeah,
absolutely. So if you have kept up with the web updates, you saw the story of James Michael Spahn, who came out and he ran I don't remember, it was like 14 games in 15 days or something like that. I know he'll have to tell you actually again properly and such. So we thought we'd have him on tonight for the Road Crew. So James Spahn, let's welcome you to the party. So James is a writer and designer as well. He's worked for The One Ring. He's worked on Star Wars and a ton of other stuff. He's a great guy. I think he, frankly, is he up now for where we see him and such? All right, fantastic. All right.
Hey, so, James, welcome.
I think he also has, in my mind, the greatest hair/facial hair configuration. Like, this is really what DCC looks like when I fall asleep at night in my head. So, couldn't full regalia. So we're also super happy for him, just, really towing the line and looking awesome. So welcome, James. How are you doing? You're totally muted, bro. 2021.
There we go. I'm totally unmuted now because I muted myself. Of course, had to open it up like that. As you can tell by forgetting to unmute myself. To be frank, I'm a little nervous.
Oh,
Goodman Games Road, the Dark Master himself, and that Brendan LaSalle guy. It's.
Frankly, I'm nervous to be too. I think it was 15 games in 19 days or something like that.
It was 15 games in 19 days.
I've never
And,
done anything close to that. I mean, even Brendan, who is the guy who can run like how many games? Every Gen Con was like minimum 15 games, but he does it in like a short compressed period. He can't keep up that stamina for 19 days. That's crazy.
Day 18, I got to sleep for 2 hours.
Yeah.
Like sleep.
Well, Brendan is partially to blame. Brendan and Judge Jen are the culprits, because basically I blame it on Brendan. It's really not his fault. He's like, nobody can do that. And I was like, oh, challenge accepted. And it just kind of became this, once I committed to it, it was like, I have, it's the best way to get me to do something is to tell me you can't do that. I'm one of those contrary people. And it just, I was away from the DCC community for a while, and for a few years, life just kind of took me away. And I had a circumstance where it reminded me like just how much I love the game and how positive the community was back when it was super active over on G+. May you rest in peace. And just how like inviting and welcoming it was. And I was like, I'm going to go check things out again. And it was like, walking into Cheers. Norm! It was like 3 years or whatever had never passed. And I was like, I want to be a part of this again. I want to do this again. So I said, you know what? It's the year's not over, and you're not limited to a number of Road Crew games a month. Like you can do as many as you want. So I was like, I'm going to get a year in a month. And then I realized, oh no, it's Christmas. I can't possibly do anything around Christmas time. So I was like, all right, Thanksgiving just ended. If I cram them all in there, I can do this. So I originally had them planned out to be like 2 or 3, and then the next week 2 or 3, and then the next week 2 or 3. And if I never missed one, I could do it. And I was like, you know what? Nope, forget that. Pedal to the metal. We're going to push hard, because that way if I screw up, I can still make up the lost time. And I was amazed, because like I announced all these games. I put them up on the events, Goodman Games events thing, and I hosted them in the Discord, and people showed up, to my surprise. In all seriousness, like, you announce these games 2 or 3 days before they're going to happen, and people just showed up. And some people kept coming back, and it turned into this thing where it was like, I didn't know a lot of the people, but after 2 or 3 sessions, I got to know people, and we became like gaming buddies. And that to me is like what DCC is all about. You see so many games that get mired in ancillary stuff, and the DCC community is so good about, we're here to talk about the game, the awesome gonzo stuff that gets put up by Goodman, that gets put up by third parties, that fans just throw out there from out of their brain. And everyone just gloms onto that and is encouraging and positive. And like, that's motivating. Don't get me wrong. It was exhausting. I was worn out by day 12. I was just like, oh my God, I can't do this. Okay, I got to do it. I can do it. I can do it. And then somebody would show up. And as soon as like people would show up, you get that boost. Like, hey, people want to play. And that's encouraging. And people just kept showing up. So it became this self-feeding thing that the less energy I had, the more I was able to feed off the people who showed up at my digital table.
Was it fun the whole time once you got going?
It really was. It was for the first, like, by like day 10, you're tired every night. But after you're like 10 minutes into it, and the first die has hit the table, because I had people physically rolling dice in front of their computers, because if that's part of what it's all about to me, is rolling dice. And I assume everybody's not cheating unless I have evidence to believe otherwise. And math rocks are awesome. But as soon as that first die hits the table, or somebody rolls something wonky on a chart, or has to burn 7 luck or whatever, you're in that moment, and you're able to push that tiredness out of the way. Now, I went to bed every night like, and got up and went to work the next morning. Went to my dining room the next morning. A wreck, but I mean, it was worth it, and it was fun. Would I do it again? Maybe. Honestly, maybe. It's not entirely out of all possibility, because no matter how bad a day I had, every day when I got done work for those 2 weeks, I had something to look forward to. I was like, it's all good, man. I'm going to sit down and play DCC tonight. It'll be fine. Mm-hmm. So that was a real positive thing. And people were like, how do you plan 15 games in 15 days? Or 19 days. You don't. You grab your quick start rules, and you run adventures that are funnels, first levels, and second levels. And you run adventures and you don't like. Goodman Games puts out awesome adventures, and I've never met anyone who plays an adventure exactly as written. And I took those adventures, and you give this framework of a plot, and if there was something cooler that popped in my head as I was going, I went off in that direction. The first night I ran Portal.
That's great. That's exactly the way to do it. I mean, they're supposed to be the starting point, not the ending point.
Yeah. I ran Portal, and I ran it as a portal to a Fey winter ice realm controlled by the Fey Queen of Winter. And it was like, it was Portal in map only, and the terracotta soldiers weren't terracotta soldiers. They were humans who had given their souls over to Fairy, and, just stuff like that. I just grabbed a theme and ran with it. I think the only thing I ran close to straight was Stardust. But everything else, it was twisted. I ran a Sailor's Prelude because I figured everybody in the world who's played DCC has played Sailors. So I said, well, what if instead of the players taking back the keep, it was the monsters taking the keep from the horrible paladins who were going to put the Leviathan to sleep underneath? That was their god. So the players played all 0th level Beastmen. And everyone who showed up at the table had never played Sailors. So I was like, I assumed I was
actually. That's great. Doug actually has a version that he calls Reverse Sailors. I think it is that he does a version of that, or he did like 5 or 10 years ago. That's cool.
That's killer.
Of course, because he's 10 times smarter than I am.
No.
Oh, dude, that guy's got more talent in his pinky than I've got in these luxurious locks over my beard.
He's amazing.
But yeah, people overthink Road Crew and they put pressure on themselves. It's really just gaming. And you're there to have fun. Everybody else is there to have fun. Nobody is expecting, nobody's expecting Lord of the Rings. Nobody's expecting, the Phoenix and the Sword. Nobody's expecting, they just want to sit down and have fun. And if you show up and you're energetic and you're confident, and if you sound like you know what you're talking about, you can not know a rule, but if you don't know a rule and they don't know a rule, and you make a calling and it's fair and you run with it, they'll never stop. The immersion isn't broken. There are rules in DCC I don't know. There's a ton of rules in DCC I don't know. But my players never knew that. I was like, roll a D20 and add this. That's 99% of it. And if you make that call quick and confidently, your player's immersion isn't going to be broken. And that keeps the fun rolling. So pick modules pick modules you like. And pick modules you're willing to play with, even on the fly. It would be much cooler if instead of where it says to do this, I do this. Do that. Because what's going to happen? What's the worst thing that could happen? A TPK? Come on. This is DCC. Really? People go in, assuming they've played before. They know that's a real possibility. And people call DCC a meat grinder, and I will argue that it's absolutely 100% not a meat grinder, but there is a absolute risk versus reward factor, and it's not sugar-coated, and that's part of why I like DCC. If you're going to go out and you're going to go into some horrible dark place, you might walk away richer than somebody who's worked for 100 years, but you also might die and never be heard from again, and that's risk versus reward. But I'm rambling, so I'll stop.
It's okay, man. It was great to hear all that. I think a lot of your approach and your spirit is spot on to what I think the game should be.
I love it, man. You made a great game, and the community around the game is what, like you talk about. I get the spirit of it. The community gets it too, and it comes through in the writing. I'm going to tell you a secret, and I can't believe I'm saying this to your face. The first time I read DCC, I opened it up, I read the first 20 pages, and I went, "This is garbage. This is never going to work." And I sold the book. Never.
Did you sell it above face value at least, or did you have to discount it?
I think I got under face value. I don't even think I got. So, and then the everybody just kept talking about it and talking about it and talking about it, and I was like, maybe I'll give it a second look. And I was still skeptical, and then I got involved with the community, and I was like, and it clicked. And then it was just Katie bar the door, and
actually, it's funny that I actually got that a lot. When I first did it, and whatever that was, it was published in 2012. So I was playtesting it, I think, in like 2010 and 2011. And I lived in San Diego at the time, and I was hitting all these small like mini cons there's no like big cons there. It's all these small cons. And people, it wasn't even written yet, but when I described it, people were like, "That sounds weird." And I just like, just play, man, just play. And like 10 or 15 or 20 minutes in, they'd be like, "Whoa, this is really cool." But it was, yeah, the play. And there's so many games I think that actually I learned long ago. I don't care how a game reads. I mean, you should care, but like it's about how it plays. Because for the judge, they read the book, but for the other 5 or 6 people at the table, their experience with it is independent of the book. It's basically filtered through the judge, so the judge can make or break the game, which is why we recruit for the road crew guys. We need good judges to play the games, you know. But the judge filters all that, and it's not about what is in the book and the words, but it's about how it comes together and the way the judge delivers it. You know.
Yeah, I had a freelance gig once where the publisher, and I won't name the publisher, though it was a good company, they said, have you played our game and what do you think of it? And I told them flat out, I said, this reads like garbage and plays like a dream. And that was the moment I realized you literally cannot judge a gaming book by its words.
Yeah.
And there's just, the core book is such a sales package. The lurid art, these are the rules, 3d6 down the line, 4 guys, they're going to die. I'm like, I'm not even making my own character and I'm like, no, you really are, because your story is starting when you're a gong farmer. You know, your background is evolving organically, and the guy who survives, you know, I ran a funnel once, and a guy who thought his character was garbage named him Chicken Noodle Boy. And when Chicken Noodle first level and then became a thief, he loved Chicken Noodle Boy. And, you know, that to me is decent.
That's great.
That, like, when people get it and it clicks, and you know, they buy in and they're sold. And he walked into that session and he said, "This game needs a heavy metal soundtrack." And I was like, you get it. Actually,
I love Chicken Noodle Boy because, you know, there's that whole table of occupations, and somehow Gong Farmer became like the spotlighted occupation of the game. I don't know how, but somehow we got to work Chicken Noodle Boy into the like.
My favorite's Halfling Chicken Butcher.
Yeah.
Halfling Chicken Butcher all day long.
Well, you've got some good advice for judges. I mean, you run a lot of games. Any other advice you'd share with other road crew judges or people, you know, judging with strangers for the first time, which is sometimes, you know, something new for a lot of them?
It's hard judging for strangers. I'm an extroverted person, so it doesn't always, you know, I'm not always super confident about it. You need to, when you're judging for a stranger, the big thing, this is going to sound weird, is I'm super excited about things, as you can tell, and I'm very animated, is stop and introduce yourself and ask people their name. You know, they are sitting there to play a game with you, and they're putting a piece of themselves out there. You know, you're meeting a stranger for the first time, and a role-playing game it's a strong social interaction. So you need to be respectful of people. I would ask people's, you know, just to double check, you know, hey, is there anything anybody's uncomfortable with? Just flat out. Just, you know, because you don't know someone's past, and you don't know where they come from in life and come from in gaming. And if they don't say anything or they say something, take them on good faith and take them at their good word. And after that, don't overthink it. Again, nobody's sitting down expecting Shakespeare. They're sitting down. I mean, if they saw the DCC is played here sign, they saw the art, they get a sense of what they're signing up for. So give them that in all its airbrushed glory, and, you know, have fun with it, and don't be embarrassed. Like, I mean, you can tell by the way I dress and the way I look, I'm have no shame, but you know, ham it up, stand up, talk to people, project. You know, you are the judge. You're not there to dominate them, but you are there to arbitrate. You know, make it larger than life, because DCC, everybody thinks DCC is a funnel. No, the funnel is the prelude. Real DCC starts at first level, and it's larger than life. You have a mighty deed. You are a wizard who can melt an army at first level if you roll your spell die well enough. You're a zealot dedicated to an unfathomable god. Play that. Invoke that in your players. They think first level D&D, oh, I'm weak. No, you are not. You are better than 99% of the people out there, and you are destined for greatness or death.
Woo! That's what I'm talking
Sorry,
about. I'm all riff now. Now I'm like, you know what? Let's just put the rally on pause. Let's just get our dice and just do this. Let's just, you know, I'm stoked.
Yeah, for sure.
I do want to say, I want to reiterate what Michael says. I will put DCC fandom up against any fandom out there. Mm-hmm. I love you guys so much, and you guys are the best. I'm so fond of the community we put together around all of this. So just thank you for all being awesome.
Yeah. And thank you, James, for running.
Oh,
It's
dude.
also what I like about your story is it's not just the quantity of the games, but you said people came back. That's always a great sign.
It turned
people
into a
enjoyed it.
campaign.
Yeah, that's awesome.
We had one guy who survived the Fae version of Portal, and he came back, and we played Silver Skull. That I think Julian wrote that, and he played the same guy. So
That's
I mean,
awesome.
there were through lines. It was like a pulp novel. You'd have little pieces of each one showing back up in the next one. It was great. You know, I had a blast, and I didn't have to overthink it. I didn't have to stress about it. You know, it was great, man. I loved it. It was awesome.
That's awesome. Well, thanks for coming on here and sharing your story. And you're kind of establishing something that I hope to do for the rest of the year, which is, you know, we already spotlight judges in different ways, but I'd love to have other judges who have good advice or great stories or just ran a crazy number of games. You know, we'd love to, this is sort of whoever's out there listening, we'd love to feature some of you guys to share your stories, kind of like what James has done.
Yeah, and I'm really looking for nominations. Like if I'll put my email in. Everyone has my email address, but I will put it in the chat one more time. And if you've got somebody, if you know somebody who you think would make a really good judge that we can feature either on the Roadworthy, the interviews that we do for the website, or for anything else like that, send that to me. I want to hear about it. I want to hear the stories, and I want to get cool people up there. So I'm going to put my email address. Yeah, there we go. So so reach out. I want to hear if you've got a nomination for who should be our next Roadworthy judge. Please send it to me. You know, this person should be roadworthy and why. And if you have contact information for them, so I don't have to play junior detective. You know, and bring out my Hardy Boy books. You know, that'd be great. But you know, so I'm looking for that kind of feedback from people for this year. You know what I'm saying? So you know, let's
and I'm sure. Yeah, exactly. And I don't know if we're showing it on the screen yet, Thorne, but there's a Roadworthy section of the website that has the profiles of a lot of judges in the past that have, well, it's just a lot of stuff related to judging. But what we've done in the past is profile some of the judges who have done either normal things or amazing things or everything in between. In some cases, just talk about the first game they ran, which for a lot of people is a big kind of a, you know, mental step to get out there and run a game in public. That's hard. And it's not something everybody's ever done. In other cases, we profile folks like James who have run so many games. But we'd love to have nominations for other judges we should bring out there and get everybody's attention and eyes on.
Can I say something real quick, Joseph? You made me think of something.
Yeah, go for it.
You see all these people who are called roadworthy judges. I'm gonna let everybody know a little secret. We all put our pants on the same way. Don't ever let somebody think. Don't ever think that because somebody is a judge and you're not, or you've never done it before, that they are any better or worse or than you. You are just as capable of finding your own style. And that's what it is. You think you have to be, you know, like Brendan or, you know, like Harley or, you know, somebody on a podcast. No, you just have to be you and you'll find it. Because if you love DCC, MCC, whatever, you know, flavor you like, that means part of that game appeals to your style and you'll find that path. You might have to kill a couple PCs along the way, but you know, nobody gets XP without breaking a few eggs. So don't be intimidated. I should have brought that up. Do not be intimidated. You know, everybody's there for fun.
Word.
Yeah, that's great advice.
Well said.
And I have to kudos to the chat joking about who wears pants these days. Yeah, man, we were going to do belt buckles this year, but you know, what's the point?
Well, what are you even doing? You know what I'm saying? They'll like have it on the wall with masks hanging off the little ridge part there. Like it'll be a mask.
Bandoliers. Yeah. Underwear. There we go. Wait,
PJs. Goodman Games PJs.
Yeah, the lounge at home set. Like,
yeah, just like
we know you're not leaving the house, guys. Like,
you know what I mean? Yeah. Oh,
I imagine this Goodman Games onesie PJ set. That's just like
the onesie.
It's a Goodman Games slanket, y'all. The Goodman slanket. Slide that over. It's got like a dice pocket up front here and something. That's good.
Dice pocket. Was it slanket? Was that the word? There was what did they call those
slanket.
things?
They would go over you like they're you could just
snuggie.
Put
the snuggly.
Snuggie. It was
snuggie.
a snuggie.
Was that it? Yeah. That was like the brand name, like the
blanket with sleeves, which somebody made billions of dollars off, and I feel like
it's time for the comeback, 2021.
No, even I have. I said I have no shame. I lied. No.
That's the limit.
That's the limit. I can go without pants. I can't put on a snuggie.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks, James, for coming on. I know you said you had to run a bit, but it was really great hearing from you. I really appreciated all the tips. I'm sure the audience did too.
I really appreciate it, Joseph. It's a real honor, and this is one of the best, if not the best, community in gaming. And just a sincere thank you to everybody.
Cool. Thanks, man.
Thank you, dude.
I guess.
All right, guys, we're back. I'm still Joseph. He's still Brendan.
Still Brendan. Forever and ever.
All right, a couple more things to cover with you guys. In monitoring the chat, it looks like a couple people wanted a little recap on the stickers. So just to cover that briefly. And we also covered this at the beginning. So, you can watch the replay and stuff for the full details. But the short version is, in this year, each month, there's going to be a couple stickers, 2 or 3 stickers. Any game you run during that month, you're eligible for that month's stickers, or prior months if we still have them. But for the most part, it'll be while supplies last. So if we get to June and you haven't played a game yet, you're probably going to miss Jan, Feb, March, maybe April stickers. But as the year goes on, just pick up the stickers. They're still available as you run games. That's the basic idea. More on the rewind.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Hopefully you guys enjoyed hearing from James. As we mentioned, please nominate other Road Crew judges that you've had a great game with, that you'd love for us to spotlight on the Roadworthy page or wherever, because we'd love to hear from you guys. And now Thorn is our secret man behind the scenes. You guys can't see, but Thorn, if you can flash the events page, we're going to talk a little about events. So everybody, we on goodmangames.com, if you go to the right side and scroll down a little bit, there's a thing that says the events page. And actually, we should raise that link so it's a little more visible. So we'll do that. But what this basically is a place where people can list their games. And I'm going to talk a little bit about a volunteer opportunity available for somebody in the Road Crew. That's the idea here. This events page was originally a place for people to list the games they're running in stores or cons, so other people could theoretically find them and say, oh, there's a guy running a game in Miami and I'm in Miami. I'll go find that store. And of course, in the last year, that all kind of changed with COVID and everything. So the events page has become a little less, usable in that manner because many people aren't listing physical games anymore. But there's a way to use the events page to RSVP for games. And Brendan's been running demo games for whatever it's been, 6 months now or so. And what we do is we have fans go in and RSVP into the demo game using the events page. So we have worked out a system behind the scenes where we can now allow Road Crew to list their events on the events page and then have players RSVP through there, so that you can sort of list a public game and say, hey, if you're interested, just sign up here, and people sort of sign in, put their email, and then they register for your game. And this isn't for a con, this isn't for a specific event. This is for any game you want to run, anytime you want to run it. And then you decide how you run it. If it's Zoom or Discord or whatever, it's up to you. So many of you have already registered events on the page in the past. We're basically letting you know that there's now an ability, or there will soon be an ability, to also allow RSVPs. But what we need is somebody to help with managing the RSVP stuff behind the scenes. To make a long story short, there's a manual element. Somebody has to actually go in and pull the emails and send them off to the judge and say, hey, here's the 5 people who registered for your game. So if you are a judge, or really any fan, but presumably a Road Crew judge who is interested in helping out, email us at info@goodman-games.com, and we'll get you hooked up. And we just need a couple people to volunteer, maybe for 1 or 2 months at a time or whatever it is. And the volunteer gig basically consists of sort of logging in and sending the list to various people of who signed up for their games. And it'll facilitate the ability to have like a hub where people can actually register and sort of constantly recruit new players. So get in touch if you're interested, and I'll hand it off to Brendan. And he's got something else cool to talk about.
I most certainly do. So I have got, so some of you have already heard this, but you haven't. So one of the big VTTs, virtual tabletop groups that platforms that is out there is Fantasy Grounds. Okay, so Fantasy Grounds, there's actually a lot of DCC stuff going on over on Fantasy Grounds. A lot of people have adopted that as their platform of choice. So the Fantasy Grounds people, so Fantasy Grounds has a volunteer group called Fantasy Grounds College. And they teach people how to use the products. They teach people how to run games on there. They have really set like they've got like classes that they'll give you on how to create a character, how to run an adventure, how to produce original content and do your own, do original content on Fantasy Grounds College. So they are going to highlight Goodman Games for the entire month of March. It'll be Goodman Games, our 5e products. It'll be Dungeon Crawl Classics. It'll be everything that we do pretty much. And they've been really good about it's going to make it very easy for everyone to learn this. I've seen the platform. It's really, really hip, and I'm going to be taking the classes along with everybody else. So if people are interested, we are looking for volunteers essentially who would go in there, learn early, and then help other people learn how to run DCC and 5e and other games up on the Fantasy Grounds virtual tabletop. So if you are interested, we are looking for volunteers. Oh, what's up, Jam? I'm still looking at the thing. So if you're interested, you can email me, and I will put you in touch with the people you need to be in touch with regarding Fantasy Grounds. He said we could. He could handle up to, I think, 20 people. He said, and so far I think we're up to like 3 or 4. So we've got some people already doing it. But you should know this is going to come with a free 3-month account, like all access everything GM account on Fantasy Grounds, which is a really good value. So it'll be worth your while just to check it out, even if you're just interested in how VTTs work and such. I think this would be a really, really cool thing. So
that's a heck of a deal. That's really good. Wait, so Brendan, and the judges, all they have to do is basically sort of run some games or talk about how to run games using.
Yeah, it'll essentially be Road Crew on Fantasy Grounds. It'll be pretty much you'll be running games, you'll be running it on there, and then teaching other folks how to use teaching folks how to use Fantasy Grounds. So
cool.
So we hope you will sign up if you have time, if you're interested, and if you wanted to get a couple of free months on Fantasy Grounds, come give it a check out. I recommend highly. It is really, really, really cool, and it's got these neat dice rollers. It's a very pretty kind of an interface. I haven't played yet, but I've had a little bit of a demo, and it looks really good. So if you're interested, that opportunity is there for you. So
yeah, and somebody said in the chat how to sign up. You just email Brendan at goodman-games.com.
Yeah, my email is in the chat already, but it's on the website in 100 places. So email me, Brendan at goodman-games.com, and I'll put you in touch with who you need to be in touch with. So that's, I think, everything I have to say about that. So I got one more thing I want to talk about, something we're getting ready to introduce here, something coming up on the horizon. This is going to be really, I think it's going to be a really good optional system for Goodman Games, and this is DCC Legacy. So DCC Legacy is going to be a way to normalize. If you play in a game on like a convention game, you know what I mean? You get attached to your character, you want to keep doing something else with them. So the way DCC Legacy is going to work is we are going to provide. This is all. First off, Sean Smith is in the building. Sean, say hey, Sean. He's Judge King Mob, and he is over here watching. And he is looking to. He's going to set up a Discord server where he will have sign-up sheets and very simple rules for how to, where you can sign up through your judge and where you can basically continue on characters with it's going to be very, very basic, a very simple rule for how to do it, but essentially allowing you to transfer your characters from one game to another game with this really easy sign up sheet and I'm sorry, I'm reading the chat while I'm doing this and trying to answer questions. But it'll be it'll be login sheets and set numbers of experience points for the existing published modules that will sort of regulate a little bit, and then some real basic rules on what to do if two people show up with the rune blade from what's that? I can't remember. I just ran it like a couple months ago. The whatever missing keep or whatever it was. So Sean's gonna have information from like that's you can contact Sean Smith directly. We're gonna have a Discord for that. Sailors, thank you. No, not sailors. It was I can't think of it now. But we'll have more information on that as it comes up. We're going to be putting a little blurb for that, and we'll have contact information for you to, if you're interested. It's a completely optional system, but I think it's going to be a very cool way for you to do it. You can, so if you're running a convention game, you can say this is a DCC legacy game, and that will essentially invite people to bring characters that they have played in other games, and they can show up with them. You can have a bit of a flow through, and just as
cool. Let me just say it so I understand, and I think the audience understands. So guys, this is one of those plant questions where I really do understand, but I'm pretending I don't. So Brendan, what this allows me to do, if I'm Joe player, I can play a game at Brendan's table, then I can take my character sheet over to Judge Jen's table, and my character sheet will be transferable, and there will be confidence that everything on it is, yeah, exactly.
A-okay, legit, and something, yeah. And we, essentially they'll, like, if you have, either an item that's, too much that would break that individual's game, the judge can say, well, this is going to completely nerf my adventure, so we will tone it down for this thing, but you'll still have it at the end of the, it'll still work at the end of the adventure. So
yeah. And just to address some of the questions in the chat, it's not quite a living campaign and it's not quite RPGA, but the idea is just a simple system for transferring characters between tables. Because I think so many people now are, it used to be you kind of gamed in a store or at a local campaign, but now you're gaming online and you might see a completely different group of people from Wednesday to Thursday to Friday. So it's a clean, easy way to transfer character sheets between tables, and who knows where it may go in the future, but that's kind of the basic idea right now. Cool.
I feel like I'm not doing a good as good a job describing that as I could have, but sorry.
No, you're doing a great job. It's easy to get it's easy to get distracted. You guys are hilarious tonight in the chat. We're both like distracted.
I'm sitting here reading trying to keep up with the chat. So yeah.
Stop being so funny and engaging.
I know, right?
It's hard to concentrate.
So I think that's the last thing on our agenda, but I want to, if I can just throw out one additional thing. So some of you know Reed San Filipino. He is a big part of our community. He is the writer and designer behind Crawling Under a Broken Moon. Super good guy. And I just found out today that he has COVID. So if he's out there, if you're watching, big shout out. We're all rooting for you, Reed, and here is to your full and fast recovery if you're out there. And that goes for everybody in our community and all of our friends and family who are touched by that. Obviously, these are hard times right now. And, we're in this too with you, and we're rooting for all y'all.
Yeah, exactly. There's a lot of people who are having a rough year, whether it's getting sick or just being home all the time and not being able to talk to people or whatever. We're there with you. So, yeah. One more thing that something made me think of, this is totally random, but it was really great hearing from James tonight. And it was actually kind of cool just seeing all the chats and talking to you guys. We have this Twitch channel now, which is less than a year old. And part of what we want to do is give a voice to the community. So for those of you watching who are part of the Road Crew, I'm open to the idea of some sort of Road Crew Twitch show, whatever that means, by the Road Crew, of the Road Crew, for the Road Crew. If there's somebody out there, chalk this up under another volunteer activity, but if there's somebody out there who wants to do some sort of judging-based show or Road Crew-based show, or either running games and broadcasting them, or a talk show of some kind, trading advice, whatever it might be, get in touch, because I think this Twitch channel could be a good place to do it. And, partly like we all need to just get out of the house virtually sometimes, and sometimes it's a good way to do it.
And it'll help keep Thorin off the street. Just give him something to keep, focus on, and to, we really need to. Thorin plan.
Yeah. Road Crew karaoke. I don't know about that one, man. Has anybody ever
Oh my
tried to sing
God.
Happy Birthday over Zoom with a bunch of people? Like that's the one song that everybody in the world can sing, but if you do it on Zoom with like more than 4 people, somehow it doesn't work.
I did for Bob's birthday. Did something I've always wanted to do, and initiated a hip hip hooray 3 cheers. And we were not in sync. We were
It's so
not even-
weird. Like you just can't do it right over Zoom. It's
No, it was crazy. So
yeah.
Heavy Metal Kitchen, yes, I want to see it.
Yeah.
One
You
Zevon
want to
song.
run that show? Sign right up. We don't have a cooking show yet. There's still time. Brenda's like the master cook, though. I don't know if you want to share your secrets, though.
I would be, you kidding me? My secrets are, if anyone wants to watch me, that would be hilarious. If anyone wants to watch me cook something, I would totally do that. Actually, this is actually a fun place to mention this. If you're watching this and you're on Facebook and you're a DCC fan and you're interested in vegan cooking, there's a DCC vegan group.
So that funnel just got smaller and smaller.
Yeah. So I'm not a vegan, but I'm sort of one of the runners of the DCC vegan thing. So I cook a lot of vegan stuff. So we'll have you, you can come join. So
Yeah. Actually, to answer one more chat question, somebody said, will the Road Crew poster be available? Yeah, they're actually printed and with the mailing group, the fulfillment house. So they'll start getting mailed out. For those of you who don't know, if you run Road Crew games, the following year, we do a mailing to everybody who ran a Road Crew game, and you get a copy of the New Year's poster and some other stuff. So yes, those posters will get mailed out in about 2 weeks once the fulfillment house, processes them all. And
Great Bay says, are we ever going to see Joseph or Brendan in the DCC Discord server? There's some rules discussion we could use some clarification on.
wait, this is where I have to get on my soapbox. This is going to sound crazy, but the answer to every rules clarification is do whatever the hell you want. Like that's the whole point of DCC. Like it really, it's okay, man. There's no right or wrong. If it works for your players and your table, it's cool. That's it.
Grape, it's hard for me to monitor Discord along on top of everything else, but maybe I could maybe we could like arrange it where I'll do like an AMA rules thing on there one time.
That's a good idea.
Why don't you, email me, let's figure out a time and I'll go on there for a while so everyone can like sort of save up their, I just can't be on Discord. I've got too much social media. I can't be on Discord all the time. But but if you want to, sort of get it together, Great Babe, Texas.
The Flavor Town funnel. Here's your nunchucks in the org. Actually, so my brother got my 2 kids nunchucks for Christmas, and they're like kid nunchucks. So they're like foam and you really can't hurt each other. But I actually have right behind my monitor here, a big stack of the official DCC nunchucks that I'm like saving for when the day is right. And currently they're not old enough. The day is not right, but it was really funny seeing them playing with nunchucks. And I was like, I got the real things right back there. All right. I got to go eat dinner. I know you guys have to go sleep. I have to go eat dinner. East Coast.
Matt, write that adventure. Yeah. All right. Cool. All right. Well, thank you all so much for tuning in and for hanging out with us here. And if you're watching this on YouTube, please like, subscribe, and hit that bell button so you'll instantly get notifications of all of the amazingly cool things that we're doing all of the time. That is something I have memorized to say that Bruce Cunnington made me say a lot of times until I had it in my head. So that's the thing
that was
now.
really good, man. You sounded like really official.
Boom, baby. Professional, y'all. Switcher.
All right, so thanks everybody for joining us. And Road Crew, we'll do more of these throughout the year. Probably the rest will be on sort of, Zooms, unless you guys love the Twitch thing, let us know. But the idea is we'd like to keep communicating both ways. So you guys talk to us, we'll talk to you guys back. Thanks a lot, everybody.